Networking is always going to be a vital tool. But like I said, you are going to need to know, have you communicated effectively? Have you negotiated effectively? And have you grasped that aspect of a business? So when we look at networking, what do we understand by it? So let's look at, we look at networking as we look at it as an avenue to exchange ideas. So this is important for a company, for yourself. You always want to be exchanging ideas. You want to be looking at where can I maybe make an impact? So this is just an opportunity that can make you more noticeable. So how will this opportunity benefit your business? How will this benefit you moving forward? How will this benefit your company as a whole in promoting what your goal is and what you aim to achieve? So this is why networking is also always an avenue for newer opportunities. Networking allows you to connect with people that is going to enable that process to start looking at new opportunities, how you can maybe collaborate together, or how you can share ideas moving forward. So this is just leads to number 4 there. It's, like I said, an opportunity that just gets you more noticeable. And then the avenue for newer opportunities. Okay, so we're going to go over quite a step here where we just need to see 10 reasons, and we want to look at why networking is still so important. So this quote by James Miller is extremely effective here. So connectivity is not an all-time high, and networking is critical to expanding your brand or developing yourself in a professional setting. Okay, so this is extremely important. So career development is a key here because networking is the gateway to career development. Building meaningful connections with networking makes way for advancements in a different professional setting. Okay, so we need to always look at it as how networking in the right areas with the right people, and will networking in this industry or with this corporate enable us to move forward as a company as a whole. But this also just leads to your personal relationships. Again, drawing on communication. How are you bargaining with people? How are you communicating? And once you've grasped all of that, you can move on to effective networking, where you're not just merely making networking, but you are also building relations. So when we think of networking, think of it as building long-term relationships that will always be beneficial to both parties. You know that both of you have something extremely effective and desirable to bring to the table in order to enhance your company or enhance your desired outcomes. So make sure that you always, at the back of your mind, you know, this is what we want to do. So this is how we are going to keep our relationships effective. So networking allows for new opportunities. So networking provides opportunities that cannot be found on job sites or in want ads. So connecting with other professionals, it gets you into their network, giving you an entire list of contacts to seek guidance from. So the beauty of networking there and providing that opportunity is you never know when someone in your networking circle can also connect you to an outside party that is always going to be beneficial. But then that is also key to make sure that you are not only just networking with someone or checking in on a monthly basis, but you have this relational side where both of you understand your desired goals, your desired outcomes, and that you know, okay, I have been in touch with so-and-so, so I know about their opportunities. So that's where your communication and your relational skills are essential in making sure that your networking will always be beneficial. And this leads on to what the shared experience is that makes it most beneficial. So sharing experiences allows us to develop trusted relationships with contacts, and then also to share your knowledge in a specific field. So better preparing you for your job tasks or situational tasks and the what to expect of a particular career. So the beauty and, well, the power and strength in sharing experiences will also then just further your understanding of what you are wanting to achieve. And then that also just communicates to your network. They know that this is how you aim to move forward. This is what you need. And then that just will allow you to have more beneficial networking or network building networks with more beneficial parties. So what it allows for, and I think this is something that a lot of people always underestimate, is the power in new perspectives. So when we look at new perspectives here, so networking, it just allows you to bounce different ideas off others. You're going to see things from a different angle, and maybe you'll learn a new business technique. Maybe you'll stay updated with specific industries. So when you have a new perspective, you are able to just look at something from a completely different angle. And also it's important maybe for people in your industry to know that you are open to some new ideas and you are continually learning and seeking ways that are always going to be helpful for your company or for both parties moving forward. So this just also then leads to networking that enables fostering stronger connections. So fostering strong connections to develop lasting rapport with potential clients or colleagues and employers is an essential part of networking. Like I say, we're not just aiming to build our network and then make sure that we have maybe a large number of people in our network. We need those relationships to actually be, firstly, they need to be strong. They need to be long-lasting relationships that will enable us to always connect on a deeper level and know that this is communicate our desired outcomes all the time within our network. And like I said, not just looking at numbers, but it's important to always want to widen your reach in networking. So in any company and any size, any corporate, you do want to widen your reach because you want people, it connects you with people you most likely would never have met or been introduced to, getting face-to-face with them, discussing logistics and career development, also all the while introducing you to new industries. So you never know when two companies could come together to collaborate. And also, again, just building on an aspect of making sure that you are continually seeking ways to expand your growth. Okay, so now we're just going to look at our masterclass here where we have to explore new careers. So maybe this is one that most of you are in, maybe not, but networking, it just opens you up to a world of new careers while making meetings and speaking with people in various professions simple. The more you network, the simpler this will become. So sometimes it can seem daunting. Sometimes we can be afraid to take that next step of enhancing our network, but it will always allow us to just better understand our passions and potentially even help us find jobs in a company that we resonate with. So as we begin to network, we can start to see, this is what I connect with. These are industries that I'd like to be networking in. And these industries or these companies strongly communicate what I resonate with, what I am passionate about. And I think that always leads to the most effective growth or the most effective productivity in any job, is when you know you have resonated with the people in the industry and what you're trying to promote. And then once you've covered that step, this just leads to number 8 here, and it will make it easier to market yourself. So your contacts are always happy to help you develop your skill sets, and they advise how to present to others in your desired field. So showing you how to best market yourself for specific jobs. And boosting our portfolio is something everyone should always be striving to working towards, or utilizing your endorsed feature on LinkedIn. So it will show you have a connection to another professional in your desired field, and it will always help you to stand out to recruiters. So this is something people sometimes underestimate, and just the power in marketing yourself. And again, in marketing yourself, make sure that you're also just communicating clearly what your goals are, what you have set out, and how you aim to achieve this as a whole through your network, through your negotiating. And are you always communicating this clearly in meetings, or communicating it as effectively as possible? So that just leads, I think, again, back to our communication, to make sure we know exactly where we're standing and how we have portrayed ourselves and marketed ourselves within our network. So build confidence. So networking always gives you a huge confidence boost. And this can be in a professional setting or in a non-professional setting. It's just getting to know people will fine-tune your social skills, and also to push you out your comfort zone. I think it's always important to make sure that we're not just always in our comfort zone. The more we are happy to step out or just go into that unknown zone, will only promote learning from our side, but that's going to truly boost your confidence. So nothing makes us feel stronger in a professional role than knowing that we have a supportive network of people that we can turn to. So that's just where it's important to build up your network. Have you built up an effective network? Like I say, where you're not just looking at a pool of people in your network, but you've got strong relationships with them, because they are able then to support you. They're able to boost your morale. They're able to help you in situations. So make sure that, like, as you're building your network, you're surrounding yourself with people who are also building your confidence. And then lastly here with networking, your personal growth. So networking can help you in not only your business venture, but your personal life as well. So you gain skills on how to network, build confidence, and obtain a different perspective on your career path. And you'll probably find as you network, as you build your connections, you'll see this is more my career path, or this is my desired outcome. And that will just lead to more opportunities because you've truly connected with something that you're passionate about. So this is an enabling personal growth when you are able to move forward and understand this is what I desire to achieve. And overall, that is just a win-win situation when we go through those three aspects of how to build your relations. So now I think we can all have a discussion on our various slides we've gone over and see how we can implement this and do some discussions in order to convey this message effectively.
Thank you, Megan. I think I'll invite our participants to maybe ask questions, right? And maybe you can answer some questions from the public. So, los que necesiten, de repente tienen alguna pregunta para Megan, ¿no? La pueden escribir por el chat, de pronto algo que tenga que ver con temas de negociación, temas de networking, todo lo que se ha visto en esta masterclass. Pueden hacer alguna pregunta específicamente para Megan. La pueden hacer en castellano y yo puedo intentar traducirla, o la pueden hacer directamente en inglés para que Megan nos pueda por ahí responder, ¿no? Algún comentario, alguna pregunta que tengan, siéntanse libres de poderla hacer por el chat. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta para la ponente? ¿De pronto quieren escribir algo por el chat? I think everything is very clear because nobody has any questions, but let me see.
Hopefully I've communicated it clearly enough. Oh, here we go.
Sí,
No
sí,
tengan miedo de
les vamos a dar un minuto para que puedan formular sus preguntas. Bien, creo que ya están formulando las preguntas por ahí, por el chat. Fernando, ¿Puedes leerlo, Yamil?
Fernando Mendoza is saying, regarding the communication topic, what can you suggest to keep good morale in organizations that have adopted home office?
So I think that especially coming out of COVID, a lot of people have still been working remotely. And I think in order to boost morale, how I've seen in industries in South Africa, arrange a weekly meeting. So even while you're working remotely and you need to boost that morale, make sure maybe once a week you pick your favorite coffee shop where you're just meeting face to face. And this is a space where communication flows freely. So you know, right, every Thursday or every Friday morning, our company kicks off the day with a quick coffee before working remotely. So just having a set place where you meet face to face, and I feel face to face always enables extremely free communication. So I think that would be one of the best ways to boost company of working remotely, is just to have something where you can connect, whether it's over a cup of coffee or a quick lunch once a week, or maybe even once a month. And you can see maybe is once a month too little, and then maybe make it a weekly thing.
Thank you, Megan. Para los que, digamos, el inglés de repente no lo tienen tan desarrollado, la pregunta fue cómo hacer que se mantenga, digamos, un espacio con buena comunicación, con buen ambiente cuando se trabaja desde el home office, ¿no? Y lo que nos decía Megan es que es importante crear un espacio donde se puede tener, digamos, un tiempo previo, ¿no? De poder compartir, de estar, de pronto una vez a la semana, una vez cada 15 días, juntarse con los compañeros, tomarse un café y luego pues ir a las labores que cada uno ya las va a desarrollar desde casa. I'll go with another question, Megan, that they put it in Spanish. I'll try to translate it to you. They're saying, how do you use social media in benefit of networking?
Okay, so that is, again, you need to communicate clearly on your social media accounts. Who are you trying to attract to your organization? So make sure whatever you're promoting on social media is strongly resonating with your company ethos or your company goals. So that when people look at your overall social media page, they know exactly this is the message you're portraying, because then you are building a network of people that truly resonate with your company. And then you've got a network that will be active. You're not just having a following, but you'll have an active network when they know you promoting your goals of your company effectively on social media.
Thank you, Megan. Para ti, Ger Anthony, que le hiciste en castellano, dice que hay que ser bastante coherentes con qué es lo que queremos, digamos, transmitir, ¿no? Porque tú sabes que en las redes sociales obviamente hay una parte también personal, una parte más laboral. Entonces, sí cuidar mucho las cosas que uno comunica, lo que se muestra y tratar de mantener esa coherencia en redes sociales para tratar de, digamos, comunicar las cosas correctas, generar los contactos correctos y que vayan obviamente a ayudarte en lo que tú desees pues promocionar, ¿no? Y que obviamente tu imagen no se vea afectada en el interín, ¿no? Eso un poco como para que la parte personal a veces no puede afectar la parte más profesional. Now, there is a question in English. The questions in English, I'll just let them go in English. If somebody has a question in Spanish, I'll try to translate because I think they don't really manage the language. But here,
Okay.
Kenneth is asking how to maintain the network of contacts over time.
So that is just keeping in touch continually. So over time, make sure you're always touching base. So you've got your network. What our company encourages, what you always have your blueprint of contacts, and then always keep track. When last did you contact this connection? Was it in the form of an email? Was it in the form of a conversation, or was it a coffee? So then you can also, as you start building your networks, you'll be able to see, do these people enjoy meeting face to face? Are they happy with just a quick phone call checking in? But manage those relations to make sure that you are always checking in. So even like make it personal. Sometimes when you remember that someone's got their favorite dog and you check in and ask about the dog and they see, oh, this person can care about me. So always touch base, try and stand out, that you're not just any other client contacting, that you truly listen to them when they speak, you are following up regularly. And once you can grasp, do they prefer meeting in person? Are they fine with a phone call? But always have your file that you can check back to and see, when last did I contact this person? Because just making sure you touch base regularly will definitely promote the most effective networking.
Thank you, Megan. Here I have a question that's in Spanish. It's a bit long, but I'll try to make it short in different words. But he's saying, nowadays it's we have businesses where we have a global environment, right? So sometimes it's a day-to-day basis trying to have a communication in English, but he's saying, is it okay if I try to communicate in English even though my level isn't that high, or should I better learn it and then try to go and communicate? Like, would you recommend that if you don't manage the language so well, you should just go and like take a dip in the pool, like just be fresh and try to communicate, or it's better to not say anything until you learn it properly to be able to have a good communication?
So I think part of the learning will be as you communicate more in the language. So even if you want to just communicate from the onset with your company, with whoever you're communicating, and just be open and honest about it and just say, listen, I'm struggling with my English, but I would like to start communicating and keeping in touch more. So definitely don't put off until you think, okay, now I've grasped the English language. It will always be a continuous process. So don't put that on hold. Still be in touch. And as you also start communicating with companies and and that will also be a learning process. That will be learning in itself. So that will help improve your English, but I wouldn't put off. I would rather just from the onset be honest and say, I'm still struggling with my English, but I want to start communicating with you now, because then they know you are truly interested. You are doing something on the sideline to improve your English, all while you are still effectively trying to get your message across.
Thank you very much, Megan. Are there any other questions? ¿Alguna otra pregunta que nos quieran poner por ahí por el chat para poder continuar? Mientras tanto, también, Jordan, te voy a pedir que otra vez puedas enviar el link para que puedan seguir, digamos, dejando los datos por ahí. Las personas que han participado puedan tener el certificado avalado por Nat Geo de esta participación en este Masterclass, y también para que dejen los datos para poder participar de los sorteos y lo que estamos dando, ¿no? Entre las becas, el sorteo para el viaje a Londres, entre otros, ¿no? Entonces, si puedes, Jordan, ayúdame a compartir ese link y que los participantes puedan ir dejando sus datos mientras seguimos con las preguntas. Si tienen otras preguntas, no tengan miedo para poder, digamos, seguir avanzando.
Vamos a ponerlo por acá por el chat al formulario donde pueden inscribirse para poder recibir el certificado avalado por National Geographic Learning de esta Masterclass, y también participar por premios que están mencionados dentro del mismo formulario. Sí, hay otras preguntas, Yamil, en el chat, en la parte del chat.
Perfecto. Acabo de ver. There are
Yeah.
some other questions that they put here in the chat. So one of them is other than LinkedIn, that's like the professional network. What other, how could I say this? What other
social media platforms?
Yeah, or what other herramientas, tools, what other tools could we, do you recommend for doing networking other than LinkedIn?
Other than LinkedIn. So that, I think, try and connect, maybe if you do even a collaboration with another company. So even if you go on LinkedIn and see, okay, some of our networks are connected to these companies, and even look at their Facebook profiles, if their companies have a Facebook profile, and see who are they connected with. And then what you could do from there is also see, okay, do these companies that they connected with, would they be beneficial to my networking? And then you can also start from there. So then I would just start getting in touch more, and build your network from there. And that will just be your own personal database of these connections and networking, because then LinkedIn and Facebook and that will just provide the means for you to see, okay, these are the companies that could be beneficial for me to network with. But I think LinkedIn is still one, like in a professional setting, is still extremely helpful, but then you need that personal aspect of physically seeing or being in touch with the company to actually include them in your network. So then that's where you'd use LinkedIn as a tool to go and see, all right, these are companies I need to connect with. And that's where you will personally start sending emails or getting in touch and making sure that that original connection is made. Sorry if that makes sense.
Thanks for your answer, Megan. Here I have another question from Carlos Alba, and he's saying, how can you achieve actual interests of the other in a negotiation debate?
Well, I think the most important thing is now you need to communicate why the desired outcome or their interests, how's it going to be beneficial to them? So you need to make sure, okay, this is going to be extremely beneficial to you. So communicate clearly, this is why it's going to maybe help you achieve your interests. So when you're negotiating, you just need to make it extremely clear, this is what will be beneficial for you if this negotiation takes place. So always try and promote what is going to benefit the other company and how it's going to benefit you, because sometimes they'll see it, maybe it's not such a win-win situation, maybe they feel it's more in favor for you. So you need to clearly communicate that this is why it will be beneficial for you. So in that negotiation process, make sure you stress as much as possible how it's going to strengthen the other party's outcome.
Thank you very much, Megan. And I'll continue with two last questions I see here. I don't know if there's more, but here it says, nowadays, virtuality has grown, a lot. So how can we generate or build trust with clients that we have never seen and we have never met in person, right?
Yeah, so again, it's so difficult when it is all virtual. So I think make sure that your communication, you've laid it out clearly, that you are in touch regularly, so that you know, okay, this isn't just another check-in. And then while maybe when you're on a Zoom call or have a meeting, that's where you just bring in, how have you been? Always try and check in for personal aspects and make sure they see, okay, this is a relationship we're also trying to build. We're not just in it to, okay, what are you able to do for our company? So always touch on just building maybe a personal connection, and also then just make sure that you tracking on your own side, when last have I been in touch with this person. So just make sure it's a regular contact. You're not just contacting them when you need an invoice, or you're not just contacting them to promote something new, but that you've actually checked base, just maybe the week, how's things going, I know you, and then try and keep track of personal things. So if you know the company had an event, maybe on LinkedIn you see, check in and say, how did the event go? How did you find the event successful? Just so they can see you following them on a more personal level and you're actually interested in the company.
Thank you very much. And now the last question, then I'll say there's some more, maybe one or two questions more, because we're getting already to the, for the time, we don't want to get you so much time here. But here, there's another question that someone is saying that it's really hard for her to have a really good pronunciation, like in a level of a native speaking in English, right? But she can read very well, but in a long time, she hasn't gotten the right pronunciation. What techniques would you recommend to be able to get there, right? To get to a better pronunciation? Do you have any tricks?
So with pronunciation, yeah, definitely start reading more, and then start practicing reading out loud, because we always grasp it when we are just reading, but start reading out loud and watching YouTube videos. So put any video on, or communicating with anyone where you are hearing the correct pronunciation, and then you practicing that reading out loud. So don't just practice your reading, always practice reading out loud, and then listen to talks. So maybe if you enjoy TED Talks even, then go and listen to more of those, because then you are going to just be more exposed to the correct pronunciation while reading at the same time, but reading out loud. So then connecting those two aspects will definitely improve pronunciation.
Thank you very much, Megan. Esta pregunta la voy a responder en castellano también porque me parece interesante y creo que le puede ayudar a todos. Justo lo que preguntaba Cintia, ¿no? Que en su caso es complicado tratar de llegar a una pronunciación como un nativo. Lo que nos recomienda Megan es, digamos, seguir viendo cosas donde uno pueda realmente escuchar una buena pronunciación. Nosotros sabemos que en AFI School tenemos una alianza con TED. Los TED Talks son muy buenos para esto, pero también que a la hora de leer, ¿no? Porque acá dicen que sí saben leer o pueden leer, es importante que lean, pero en voz alta, porque a veces uno lee, pero estás leyendo en tu mente y no necesariamente estás practicando realmente esa pronunciación. Entonces, un truco podría ser empezar a leer en voz alta, ¿no? Imitar las pronunciaciones que ves en diferentes videos, y a la hora que tú leas en voz alta también intentes dar ese esfuerzo por mejorar tu pronunciación, ¿no? And here there's another question, Megan. Dice, hi, Megan, how can we change the client's view about us, not as someone that is giving them a service or a product, but as an ally that will help them grow with our alliance? Like, yeah.
Okay, so again, I think what you want to do is show them how you, so firstly, point out to them how it is beneficial that you both connect. And then you need to make sure that you've clearly communicated this to them. So communicate to them on a basis where you say, we are not only going to provide a service to you, but we truly resonate with what you stand for. So again, making sure that communication is always open, that they can see regular check-ins, and that you have been following their company. So like I say, if you know their company has done some event, or they're busy with a huge project, that you're not just a client who's there to provide a service, but but you actually follow their work. So you can check in and say, how did that presentation go? Or how has the growth been this year? So check in on personal side aspects of the company as well. So I think the best means first is to build relations with employees in that company. So that will relate to the networking. So build a network within that company where there's communication between your employees and their employees, between the two companies, that you can see, okay, we're not just here to provide a service, but we are actually tracking your business and seeing how things are going, because in order for us to provide our best possible service for you, we need to know where you stand on all these things, and we've been following it closely.
Thank you very much, Megan. I don't know if there's any other questions. Si alguien tiene alguna pregunta más, yo sé que estamos casi al límite del tiempo, entonces si por ahí alguien se anima, es por puesta de mano, así que por favor, 1 o 2 preguntas máximo, y pues con eso estaríamos culminando el masterclass. Así que voy a dar por ahí unos segundos más si por ahí alguien tiene una pregunta adicional. I'll just give them a few seconds and see if there's 1 or 2 other questions, and then we could all.
Perfect.
Sorry for my English. I'm trying my best.
No, it's very good.
You are doing great, don't worry.
You could help me, Joanna.
Why not? Of course.
A ver si hay alguna pregunta adicional. Y si no, porque me parece que no. Well,
Sí, han llegado algunas preguntas, están en la parte de Q&A.
Sí, pero todas esas ya se leyeron.
All right, guys, if you have questions, please drop it into the chat box so we can answer it.
Sí, esas son las que primero vi. Y ya después pasé.
La última, hay una, parece que acaba de llegar.
No, también. La de how can we change the client's view, eso ya justo se respondió. Sí, que hay que hablar como nosotros, ¿no? Que no es solamente que damos un servicio o un producto, sino que si no conocemos a detalle, ¿no? La empresa, la compañía, no vamos a poder darles el mejor servicio posible, entonces poderlo manejar de esa forma.
Sí, más abajo hay otra pregunta que dice.
Exacto, la acabo de ver.
Sí.
Then, one last question, and with this we can give a wrap up. Here it says, how can we train our staff? Oh, sorry, this went away. I don't see that question anymore. I don't know if ¿Alguien borró su pregunta? Porque había una pregunta que iba a empezar a leer y se me borró. I was starting to read a question, but it got wiped out. So I don't know if there's any other questions. Maybe
En la parte de answered, en la pestaña de answer arriba, ahí la puedes visualizar.
Yeah, this is the best time to ask your questions, guys. Drop it in, please.
Okay, there's the last question. Here it says, how can we train our staff to change their view when clients turn us down so they don't lose confidence?
Oh, yes, especially in the sales industry, this is always a tricky one because you have to keep going. Each time you get a rejection, you got to keep going. So I think in order to just train your confidence, you just need to know, you know what, firstly, always remember that company, it has nothing maybe to do with the service you're offering. It's just maybe they can't afford it at the moment, or maybe, so always try look at it not from your side of what you failed to do, but also just try and view it and see, okay, but let's look at this company at the moment. Their revenue that they've been bringing in is extremely low. So let's look at sides. So maybe to boost the morale or the confidence, always see, okay, well, this is why the company can't use us at the moment, but then also maybe see where did we go wrong in that. But I think the best thing to continue building your confidence is being as clued up as you can on the service offering that you're providing, because then that always allows you to go in with a clear understanding of what you're promoting. But just make sure that okay, your company, you can train your staff and see, listen, this is why the company, so try and look at it from a side of, this is why they didn't go with you. It had nothing to do exactly maybe with you, but this company just can't broaden their horizons at the moment.
Thank you very much. I think with that, we have a wrap up. I don't see any other questions. And I would like to thank you, Megan. This has been a really nice topic. I think it's important for every professional in every industry. It's part of our day-to-day, right? Be able to communicate assertively, being clear, and thank you for your time. Thanks for being here. Thanks for answering every and each of the questions that you've been asked. And it's been a pleasure to have you here and hear this masterclass from you with all your experience.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's been an honor to present this. I hope that everyone learned something, and we can always use these skills in any professional setting. So thank you for allowing me to present.
No, thank you again. Bueno, le estaba agradeciendo a Megan por la masterclass. De hecho, es un tema súper interesante, todo el tema de comunicación, networking, cosas que realmente todo profesional pues utiliza en su día a día. Y volverlas a decir a las personas que están acá, que han participado de este masterclass, no se olviden de entrar al link. De hecho, Jordan ha vuelto a compartir el link. En ese link tienen que dejar sus datos, correo, teléfono, y nosotros vamos a hacerles llegar a ese correo, digamos, el certificado de haber participado de este masterclass, que es avalado por National Geographic Learning, y también para las personas que puedan participar de estas becas parciales y de los otros sorteos que tenemos de las sesiones personalizadas con la especialista, y también 3 tickets para el sorteo para un viaje a Londres. Así que, sin más, con eso nosotros despedimos la reunión. Ahora sí me gustaría también que los que tengan alguna pregunta específicamente por el programa de inglés, por AFISchool y National Geographic Learning, si es que hay personas interesadas acá en aprender el inglés, perfeccionarlo, tener de pronto una preparación para un examen internacional, nos pueden dejar sus preguntas también, y pues yo me voy a quedar para poder absolver algunas dudas ya con respecto a AFISchool y Nat Geo Learning. I was telling them, Megan, I'll stay now and try to answer some questions from our program, AFISchool, Nat Geo Learning, people that are interested in learning or getting a better